The islands known today as St. Kitts and Nevis were inhabited long before European contact. Archaeological evidence suggests that as early as 3,000 years before Christ, people from the South American mainland crossed the Caribbean Sea and settled on the islands. Around 1,000 years before Christ, agricultural communities connected to the Orinoco region in present-day Venezuela reached the islands. Later, around 800 years after Christ, Arawak-related groups settled there, followed around 1,300 years after Christ by the Kalinago people. The Kalinago called the larger island Liamuiga, meaning fertile island. The European history of St. Kitts and Nevis began when Christopher Columbus sighted the islands during his second voyage in the year 1493 after Christ. Columbus named one island St. Christopher after his patron saint. Over time, English settlers shortened the name to St. Kitts. The island of Nevis received its name from the Spanish expression Nuestra Señora de las Nieves, meaning Our Lady of the Snows, referring to the cloud-covered peak of Nevis. In the year 1623 after Christ, Sir Thomas Warner established the first permanent English settlement at Old Road Town on St. Kitts. This settlement became the first successful English colony in the Eastern Caribbean. French settlers arrived shortly afterward, in the year 1625 after Christ, and established their own colony in the year 1627 after Christ. Throughout the 17th century, English and French colonists fought repeatedly for control of the islands, and the indigenous Kalinago population was severely diminished during these conflicts. During this period, the colonial economy developed rapidly. Initially, tobacco was cultivated, but by the year 1643 after Christ, sugar production had become dominant on St. Kitts, soon spreading to Nevis. Sugar plantations required an extensive labor force, leading to the large-scale importation of enslaved Africans through the transatlantic slave trade. The conditions on the plantations were harsh and brutal, and enslaved Africans soon formed the majority of the population. European rivalries continued to shape the island's fate. In the year 1713 after Christ, the Treaty of Utrecht placed St. Kitts and Nevis fully under British control. Although France briefly regained control in the year 1782 after Christ, the Treaty of Versailles in the year 1783 after Christ confirmed British sovereignty over the islands. In the year 1802 after Christ, St. Kitts, Nevis, and the neighboring island of Anguilla were united into a single administrative unit. During the 19th and early 20th centuries, the islands were part of several British colonial structures, including the British Leeward Islands and later the short-lived West Indies Federation, which dissolved in the year 1962 after Christ. On the 27th of February in the year 1967 after Christ, St. Kitts, Nevis, and Anguilla became an associated state with full internal self-government, while the United Kingdom remained responsible for defense and foreign affairs. Tensions soon arose, particularly in Anguilla, whose residents felt dominated by the government on St. Kitts. In May of the same year, Anguilla expelled the St. Kitts police force. On the 10th of February in the year 1976 after Christ, Anguilla received its own constitution, and in the year 1980 after Christ, the Union was formally ended, leaving Anguilla under direct British administration. Following a constitutional conference in London in the year 1982 after Christ, the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis achieved full independence on the 19th of September in the year 1983 after Christ. The country became a sovereign state within the Commonwealth, with the British monarch remaining as ceremonial head of state. After independence, the nation faced economic challenges, particularly due to declining global sugar prices. Over time, the government diversified the economy, focusing increasingly on tourism, offshore financial services, and other service industries. Political life has included various changes in government and ongoing debates about autonomy for Nevis, including discussions about possible secession. Today, St. Kitts and Nevis stands as a small but sovereign Caribbean federation whose identity has been shaped by indigenous heritage, colonial conflict, slavery, and its continued pursuit of economic and political development.